Hey everyone, in this video we are going to set up emails with self-hosted Supabase instance. So this is going to be the final email which we are going to send to the end user when they have to confirm their email. So what is the agenda of this video? As I said, setting up emails, and at the same time we are going to verify the setup by sending a magic link from a React app. So let me show you the React app which we are going to use. So this is the React user management example application from Supabase itself. So this is how it looks like. Once you send in the magic link for the user to log in, then they are redirected to this. Dashboard where they can edit their name or upload their avatar. And you will get the link to this repository in the description below. Okay, so let's talk about the requirements. First of all, well, that's given, right? You are going to need a self-hosted Supabase instance, and you can use Supabase automated self-host to quickly set one up. And you will need a Resend account or any other SMTP provider for sending emails. So let me show you the pricing page for this Resend account first. They offer a free tier. Yeah, so they have a free tier and you get 3000 emails per month. And here I have my Supabase instance all set up. Okay, so let's begin by setting up the React app. All we need to do is add our anon key inside our env variables. So when you download the project, you will get this env.example file. Just copy and paste it into an env file, and the Supabase URL will be your domain where you have deployed your Supabase instance. My instance is deployed on supabase.serve.http.com. I have added that value here. And for the anon key, it will be inside my .env file. So here I am inside Supabase automate self-host Docker directory. And from here, cat.env grep anon key. So you have to copy this anon key and paste. So for now, this is all we have to do here. We will come back to this React app once we have set up our email service. Okay, so now you have to create a Resend account. I have already created one. So once you are logged into your Resend account, this is the dashboard you will see. So from here, I want you to go to this settings and SMTP. And here you will find a config for SMTP. So we have to add this config inside the environment variables inside our AWS instance. So let's first add this host. I am going to search for SMTP host. Okay, you see SMTP host is set to Supabase email. We have to change it to this value. And the port will be 465. SMTP user will be Resend. And we have to add the password. This will be an API key which we will have to generate. So here you have to go to API keys and create API key. You can give it any name you want. I'm simply going to give it test. And for the permissions, I would say go with sending access only. We don't need all access. Add. Okay, so now copy this and add it to your password. Okay, so now I want to talk about some restrictions which you will face when you have not verified your domain with Resend. Okay, so what are these restrictions? If your domain isn't verified, Resend only lets you send emails to the address you used to create your account. What does this mean? Let's say you created your account with the email johndoe@gmail.com. Now, when your domain isn't verified, you can only send emails to johndoe@gmail.com, not to any other email address. Now, this makes sense, right? They are giving you 3,000 emails per month. It can easily be used for spam. Their service can easily be abused. All they demand from you is verify your domain. And you can look it up how to verify this domain. Just go to google.com and resend verify domain. And you will find this whole documentation on how to set up, how to verify your domain. I'm not going to do it here. We will only send emails to the email address with which I created my account. So now I'm going to go back to my AWS instance, and we already have our .env file open. We have added host, port, user, and password. We have to update this SMTP admin email. Why is that? You see that example.com, because we do not have any domain verified, we cannot even add this example.com inside our SMTP admin email. Now, technically, this would be our, let's say you were receiving any emails from Amazon.com, right? Some administrators of Amazon.com, you would have admin@amazon.com, right? So this is what this means. So my Supabase deployment is on supabase.servehttp.com. Technically, this URL should be supabase.servehttp.com. But because we do not have any domain verified, we cannot use this example.com. So the question is, what can we use here? So I want you to go to Google and search for resend send emails Node.js and click on this send emails with Node.js link. And from here you can go to documentation, and I will zoom in. And here come to this send email using HTML. So from here I want you to copy this onboarding@resend.dev. And we will replace this. Okay, so our SMTP admin email onboarding@resend.dev. Why do we have this? I'm also going to add a comment here. So we cannot change this value until we verify our domain with resend. Okay. And we also need to change this value, enable email autoconfirm to false. So if we set this value to true, that means that all the new users will automatically be confirmed. We do not want that, right? We want our emails to be verified. Only then the users are allowed to register. So now we need to restart our auth container. So docker compose -d force recreate, and I'm going to add a flag no deps and auth. See, I have already tested this command out because I know that if I only restart the auth container, it will work fine. But if you were setting any other environment variables, and if you only restart that container, it might not work for you. So if you were restarting any other container, I would recommend to force recreate of all the containers, not simply just one container. Okay, so let's see if the container has started. Okay, so container is healthy now. So now I'm going to try to send an email from our React app. First of all, you can see there are no users in my dashboard right now. And if I add my email here, and you get this, check your email for the login link. That means the email was sent successfully. And also I'm going to show you the dashboard here. Refresh and okay. You see this field confirmation sent at, the confirmation was sent but the confirmed at is still blank and last sign in is still blank. So when the user clicks on the link which is sent to them in the email, only then these fields will be populated. So let's take a look at the email which we received. Okay, so this is the default one. Don't worry, we will work on the custom email templates as well. I just wanted to set up the email flow first. So if I copy this link and paste it here. So paste, and I'm automatically logged in this tab as well. And if I refresh here, now you can see, I can see the confirmed at this time and last sign in at this time as well. So let's try to update this. But before that, we will have to create the tables. So for these tables, you can go to this SQL editor, quick starts, and this is the one which we need, user management starter. As I said, the example is taken from Supabase. So they already have a quick start guide for this. Okay, so now my tables are ready. I am simply going to update the name and website. So this is a basic example. You do not have any success notifications or something like that. And I'm going to refresh. Okay, you can see that the row is created inside the profiles table. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is delete this row, because now we are going to work on our custom email templates. We want to again send a confirmation email to the user first so that they can sign up on our application. And inside authentication and users, I'm going to delete this user. Okay, so I'm logged out, and now the question is where to get the email templates. Simply go to Google and search for responsive email templates GitHub, and you will see all these results right in front of you. You can choose any one. The one which we are going to use is this one, responsive HTML email templates. You will find the link to this repository in the description below, and we are going to use this confirm email one. And you can also look at these screenshots. They have provided it, the mobile version and the desktop version. So this is the HTML which we need. Now what we are going to do is simply download this HTML file on our AWS instance. So I'm going to copy this raw link, and inside our AWS instance, I am still inside my Supabase automated self-host Docker directory. And from here, I'm going to go into volumes, and I'm going to create a directory here, templates. So here I'm going to download this HTML file. Okay, so now we have this confirm.html file inside our templates directory. If we open this, first let's see the things which we need to edit, right? So I'm going to open the screenshot. So please validate your email address in order to get started using, we want to remove this, right? Using product, we do not have a product. I'm going to keep this still here, right? Please validate your email address. So let's search for this, right? This is plain text. So this is here, right? Please validate your email address in order to get started. I'm going to just put a period here, and that's it. Okay, so this is done. Now let's see what we need to do more. Okay, so when we click on this confirm your email, right, we need it to be a link which is redirected to our Supabase dashboard, right? So let's see where this is in our HTML template. Confirm your email. This is right here, right? This is the one, confirm your email. So what we can do is wrap it with anchor tag. and we will have to attach href, right? So what do we need to put in here so that this, when the button is clicked, we are redirected to our dashboard, then we get verified and we are redirected back to our React application. So for that, let's go to Google. And from here, I want you to search Supabase email docs. And here you will find this email templates link. Again, I will leave all the links in the description. So now you can see we have all these variables available to us inside these templates. So the one which we need is this confirmation URL. This is how a confirmation URL looks like, right? You have the token and you have the redirect path, which will be our React app. So I'm going to copy this right here and go back to my file. So inside this href, I'm going to paste this. So how will this value get replaced? We are using Golang template syntax here. This variable will automatically be replaced by the Supabase. Okay, so now we can also add the link here. So verify using this link. Let's search for verify. Yeah, this is one. And this is the link. So again, we can simply add click here. And in the href, we will add the same thing, redirection URL. And in the href, we were going to add the same thing, right? Let's copy it so that I do not make any mistakes. Okay, so these values will automatically be replaced by Supabase. But we are not done here because we still need to tell Supabase that use this template. So how do we tell Supabase to use this template? First of all, I need you to come back to this Docker directory. And now again back to Google. And I want you to search here Supabase auth GitHub. So I want you to open this GitHub link for Supabase auth. And when you reach this page, I want you to search for e-mail. So you will get this environment variables config for setting up emails, right? Now, if you look at this, we have already set up our SMTP host, port, user, and password. What we need to do is we need to tell Supabase that use this template. So how do we do that? We need to look for mailer. Yeah, we need this mailer templates confirmation. So what is this, right? What is this mailer template confirmation? It is a URL path. It has to be a URL which tells the auth service that, okay, you go to this URL and fetch the template which I am going to use, and I will replace all the values if needed, and I will send this template to the end user. So we need to add this in. This is an environment variable, right? We need to add this inside our Docker Compose file. Now, how will this work, right? Let's think about this first. Let's say you want to host some templates, right? So do you have to set up another server to host this? Let's take a look at the diagram first. So this is our containers, right? I have not added all the containers, just an example. Here we have our Docker internal network, the Docker network which is created when we run the Docker Compose up. So in this network, we have all these containers, right? So now what we want is, we want to add the value inside this auth container that, okay, this is the URL I am providing you. I want you to go to this URL and get the template. So we have two options, right? Either we can have another instance. We can have another server right here. Let's say this is a server and we are hosting it outside the Docker network. So we go to this net server HTTP request. This will be an HTTP request, right? So the file server looks for the file. If it is there, it sends the template back. Now, what's the problem with this? We need to set up an external server, right? We can put it in the same VPC, but still it's another server. So what we can do is, I'm going to erase this first so that we don't get confused. How about we put the container inside the Docker network? It's a valid option, right? It's a valid option. We know that. Now, if you're not familiar with Docker network, all these containers which are inside the Docker network, they can talk to each other. So let's rename this to, let's say, templates server. Okay. So now we have the container inside our Docker network. So we can easily make a request to this template server container, and template server can send the template back to this auth container. So now the question is, how will we serve this templates file from a template server? We need a static server for this. I'm going to also add a point here. It has to be a static file server. Okay. So we need a static file server. Where can we find it? We can build our own, right? You can use any language, right? You can use Python, you can use Go, Node.js to build this server. But what we are going to do is, we are going to use Caddy. Why? Look, we already have Caddy installed, right? I'm going to go to Google and look for Caddy file server. And from here, command line documentation. And you will see that Caddy already has a file server command which we can use to serve these static files. So now, let's say this is a Caddy server. We have to mount a volume. I'm also going to add a point here. Mount volume, template volume. Look, container doesn't know, right, where the templates are. We have to tell it where to look for the templates. So we will mount the directory where the templates are stored, which is our, if you remember, it is inside our volumes and templates. Here we have the templates, right? It is inside our volumes, templates. So we will mount this directory to this template server container, and then we will start our Caddy server. Now, why am I using Caddy? There are other options available, right? As I told you, you can create your own static server. We are only using Caddy because, look, I have created my Supabase instance with this project, Supabase automated self-host, and Caddy is pre-installed with it. It uses Caddy as a reverse proxy. So I already have Caddy image inside my system. So why not reuse it, right? Why should I install something different when I already have file server available for me? So now what we are going to do is, first of all, let's open our Docker Compose file, go to the end, and we are going to first of all add the config for file server. So again, you have to remember the service name, right? I'm going to add it templates server. Image will be Caddy. I'm going to use the same image. So let me quickly. Yeah, the Caddy is 2.9.1. And volumes / templates, and yeah, I'm going to mount it on templates inside container. So what does this line mean? If you look at this on the left side, I have this volume / templates. This is my local file path, right? So I have this volume / templates relative to my Docker Compose, right? I showed you before. And now I am mounting this directory volume / templates to templates inside the container. And you will see why we are mounting this on templates. So now we also need to update the entry point of this container. And what do we need to add to this entry point? If we go back to the caddy documentation, so if we look at this caddy file server, and we also need to set a bunch of configuration, right? We need to set which directory to look for files. So that will be our -- root, or you can simply use the shorthand /templates. Why /templates? Because inside our container, you have to think about this at the container level, right? We are mounting the files at templates inside container. So caddy can only see this templates directory, right? So we are telling caddy to serve these files inside the templates directory. And we also need to set this port number. By default, it is 80. Now I am going to use the port 80 as well, but I am going to make this explicit so that we do not have to, think about how is this working. Listen, port 80. Okay, so let's go over this again. I have named the service template server. Image, I'm using the same image which I have defined at the top. Volumes, the path in my local file system, and the path I want in the container file system. This one and this one has to be the same, right? Because this is the path which is available inside the container, and this is the path which caddy will use to serve these templates. So now we have to go above. First, let's save it. And let's go to the top. And now I want you to look for auth service. So I am at the auth service. So now we need to enter that URL, right? What will be that URL? Let's take a look at the diagram again. This is our auth. And we need to tell it to go to this template server to fetch the template. How will we do that? We need to add a URL. Now, as I said, all these Docker containers inside the Docker network can talk to each other. So we can easily make an HTTP request to this template server from auth and get the template. So we have to add an environment variable inside this auth service, and the value of that environment variable will be the URL to this template server. So first, let's go back to our Supabase auth GitHub repository and this mailer templates confirmation. And one thing I forgot to mention, these environment variables, they have to be prefixed with goTrue _. What do I mean by that? If you go back to this, you see all these environment variables are prefixed with goTrue _. So all these environment variables need to be prefixed with goTrue _. Okay. So now let's copy this environment variable. And here I am on my auth service. I will add it just right here. And let's prefix it with goTrue _. Okay. So the value, what will be the value? Now, if you're not familiar with Docker networks, we have to enter the service name here. Why is that? Let's go back to the diagram. I'm going to clean this diagram a bit. Okay. If you take a look at this, all these, these auth vector, these are service names. And these service names are used for DNS resolution. So when I type in http/template server, Docker network will automatically resolve the template server hostname with the IP address of this container. So what do I mean by that? If I type in here http templates server /confirm.html. So why template server? Because that is the service name, and this matters. Let's say if I change this template server, I want you to look at this. If I change this template server to something else, right? Then I will have to also change it here, because these service names are used for DNS resolution by Docker network. Okay. So why confirm.html? Again, we mounted the volume. Inside the directory, we have placed the file confirm.html. So this is why we have to use the exact name of that file, confirm.html. Okay, so now save it again. Let's restart our containers. And this will take some time, all the containers are being restarted. Now you can see template server is running. That's a good sign. And all of our services are healthy. So what I'm going to do is send an email again, and there are no users. Okay, so check your email for the login link. And so now if I copy this and paste, and we are good to go. And we are confirmed. So now I want to discuss one more thing with you. I want you to come back to this Supabase auth repository. So right now, we have only set up this mailer templates confirmation. What does this mean? Right now, we have only configured our confirmation email. We have not configured our recovery. We have not configured our email for magic link. So you have to configure all of these with templates which you want. Again, as I have shown you, you can find all these templates from the internet. Most of them are open source. Or you can create your own, right? This is basic plain HTML CSS. Place the templates inside your volumes/templates folder. Set these environment variables inside your auth service. And again, you have to prefix these with go_through_ and restart your containers. And if all goes well, you should be able to send custom emails with your Supabase self-hosted instance. So this brings us to the conclusion. So if you found this video helpful, please like this video. If you have any questions, you get stuck somewhere, you can comment down below or join my Discord server. It's totally free. Link will be in the description. And don't forget to subscribe. I have some other Supabase related videos in the pipeline. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.